Neil deGrasse Tyson, the renowned astrophysicist and science popularizer famous for bringing cosmic realities to popular audiences, has again shook up both the scientific community and the world at large with a shocking revelation. In a recent interview, Tyson asserted that China has made some discovery on the moon that not only threatens our knowledge of lunar geology but potentially reveals what NASA has long kept secret. His words have set off a firestorm of speculation, academic discussion, and public interest. More than a provocative headline, Tyson's remarks are timed as the world's space aspirations are in transition, and the moon is back in the spotlight as a focal center of exploration, diplomacy, and potentially, if his suggestions are right, disclosure. Tyson's revelation centers on recent findings from China's Chang'e lunar missions, particularly from the Chang'e 4 rover, which landed on the far side of the moon in early 2019, a feat never before accomplished. This region, hidden from Earth's view and notoriously difficult to communicate with due to the moon's blocking mass, has remained one of the least explored parts of the lunar surface. But it is just here, in darkness, that China might have uncovered what Tyson referred to as structured formations that cannot be explained in terms of natural geology. Though Tyson refrained from directly naming them alien, his insistence upon openness and hidden history suggests something possibly paradigm-shifting. In Tyson's account, the discoveries were not a complete surprise. With NASA's Apollo missions, astronauts recorded, and photographed in a few instances, anomalies on the moon that were never made public in their entirety. Some of the video and records, as well known, are still classified or redacted even today. Tyson speculates that what China has now achieved with advanced imaging devices may correspond very closely to what NASA found many years ago and decided not to make public. If so, this immediately raises questions. Why were those earlier conclusions kept under wraps? And why has it taken a competitor space agency for the world to finally show some willingness to grapple with them? The explanation might be found in a blend of geopolitics, scientific prudence, and public preparedness. During the Cold War, the space race between the Soviet Union and the United States was not merely scientific, it was a proxy war for ideological superiority. The disclosure of something as sensational as human or possibly artificial constructs on the moon would have led to panic globally or a new arms race of some sort. At a minimum, it would have deflected attention from the United States' technological advancements and attracted criticism over what it did not reveal. Today, though, with China moving boldly into space, the opposite is true. Tyson stressed that the Chinese method has been consciously open, at least according to 21st-century space exploration standards. Data, high-resolution images, and spectrographic analyses from the Chang'e 4 mission have been made available to the global scientific community. The data sets indicate anomalous magnetic readings and bizarre compositions in the soil, areas with electromagnetic characteristics that don't belong to the surrounding environment. Most convincing, though, are the photographic images, pictures that show grid-like structures, right angles, and rectangular features that look carved or built, not naturally weathered into place by erosional forces. The South Pole, Aitken Basin, where a number of these abnormalities are being found, is an old and deep moon impact site. It has intrigued scientists for centuries for its promise of revealing the lunar mantle, but Tyson speculates it could contain much more than fossilized rock. The symmetrical, geometric forms observed from the area defy the normal chaotic shape of impact craters and natural features. Some are found alone on otherwise featureless plains, others within ridges, always a form and structure that defy simple geological explanation. One theory, cautiously entertained by some geologists, is that ancient meteor impacts in the area may have melted or compressed materials in rare and unusual ways, creating seemingly artificial shapes. But Tyson challenges this as insufficient. We must consider every possibility, he stated, including those that make us uncomfortable. That discomfort, it seems, lies in the idea that something, or someone, may have preceded us in reaching the moon. Whether it is an ancient non-human society, a technological relic, or an intelligent being's leftover signal, the implications reach far outside the moon itself. Tyson's remarks have elicited vigorous debate among the astrophysics and planetary science communities. While numerous scientists have appealed for caution, calling for these anomalies to be peer-reviewed before conclusions are reached, others have shown irritation that NASA did not pioneer this discovery decades earlier. Others even charge the U.S. agency with scientific gatekeeping, withholding evidence that could have stoked decades of advancement in exarchaeology and astrobiology. Tyson, never one to use charged language or betray a love of public education, refused to name individual people or programs guilty of the alleged suppression, but he has forcefully called upon NASA to declassify all records from the Apollo era related to the Moon. The political stakes are also considerable. If China's discoveries hold water and the structures are indeed found to be man-made, China will not only possess advanced science but also gain an enormous geopolitical victory. It would be the first country to openly reveal possible evidence of non-human artifacts in our cosmic backyard. Already, China's space program is being welcomed by its state media as a paragon of scientific clarity and truth-seeking beyond borders. The story frames the CNSA as saviors of space truth, antidotes to years of Western obfuscation. Tyson explained that China's program gains from centralized planning and an unbroken long-term vision, something NASA has frequently lacked because of changing presidential administrations, budget restrictions, and cross-agency priorities. This steadiness has enabled China to tackle challenging missions such as lunar sample returns, drilling underground, and high-fidelity 3D surface mapping without political interruption. It is this very methodological consistency that has produced findings capable of challenging entrenched assumptions and rekindling debate. And stir they have. Public interest in the Moon has surged since Tyson's comments. Searches for lunar structures, hidden Apollo film, and China moon discovery have gone ballistic on social media sites and online forums. YouTube, Reddit, and TikTok are flooded with deconstructions of images Tyson pointed to, many amateur analysts drawing circles around shapes and speculating about origins. Some think they've found bits of alien equipment. Others believe they're ruins of an ancient moon civilization. Although much of this is conjecture, it highlights a renewed thirst for discovery, one that contemporary space science might finally be ready to fulfill. Aside from mainstream scientific interest, Tyson's revelation has energized the UFO and UAP, unidentified aerial phenomena, communities. For decades, these groups have argued that humanity is not alone and that official institutions have worked to suppress the truth. To them, Tyson's remarks are more than just academic, they are vindication. Whether or not this sense of vindication is warranted remains to be seen, but there is no denying that the atmosphere surrounding space exploration has shifted from passive observation to active inquiry. There is also a legal and ethical dimension to consider. The Outer Space Treaty, which was signed by the United States, Russia, and many dozens of other countries, forbids any nation from claiming ownership of the Moon or other celestial bodies. But what if artificial structures are discovered? Do they belong to the discoverer? Do they come under international custodianship? Tyson did not directly answer these questions of law, but the context of his remarks requires a new discussion regarding space law and sovereignty. Another essential aspect brought up by Tyson is what knowledge itself is. Scientific knowledge, particularly when it applies to the underlying nature of our cosmos, should never be owned. Science is not a secret to be hoarded, he stated. It is a flame to be shared. This is a philosophy quite at odds with Cold War-era procedures of silos of data, access limitations, and compartmentalization of knowledge. The stakes are too high now, Tyson contends, for history to be allowed to repeat itself. If there is something on the Moon that shakes our view of humanity's position in the universe, it needs to be researched and learned about together, and not in secret. Speculation now runs rampant. Might the Moon have been in the past a station, a beacon, or a message for future intelligent life to find? Might it be a piece of something larger, an abandoned base, a crash probe, or even an overlooked node in a galactic communication network? Although such concepts seem far-fetched, they are based on valid scientific inquiry, prompted by evidence and data, not just imagination. Tyson has long claimed that the line between science fact and science fiction is in many cases purely a function of time and evidence. In the coming months, the heat is likely to be on NASA. Politicians, reporters, and scientists are demanding hearings, declassifications, and a fresh public examination of the Apollo records. In the meantime, China is likely to speed up its own moon work. The Chang'e 6 and Chang'e 7 missions, scheduled for towards the latter part of this decade, already have the capability to venture into permanently shadowed areas around the lunar South Pole, areas that could hold even more strange features. Other countries are paying close attention. The European Space Agency, India's ISRO, and Japan's JAXA have all indicated interest in collaborative lunar missions. Private actors such as SpaceX and Blue Origin, although centered on crewed landings and resource utilization, might now increasingly be called upon to collaborate with public bodies on exploration of the specific regions delineated by China. In the end, Tyson's words will be recalled not only for what was learned, but for what was required: accountability, cooperation, and courage in seeking truth. The moon is no longer the last stop in space travel, but it has become the new frontier of truth. So, what do you think? Did China reveal what NASA attempted to cover up? Are we on the verge of confirming that humanity is not alone? If you enjoyed this video analysis, make sure to like and subscribe for more thought-provoking content. Leave a comment below and join the discussion. We want to hear your opinion about this amazing lunar discovery. Until next time, keep looking up.